Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this video. In this video I'm going to go pick up where I left off kind of in the first video where I talked about my experience with the phone call that changed my life. So one day 13 years ago I got a call from my mother and she was hysterical and I had no idea what was going on. All I knew was it was really bad because I had never heard her like this before, so I knew something was terribly wrong. And I could barely understand what she was saying, and when I finally got her to calm down enough to say something, the only thing I remember her saying was, "Your brother's gone." And I had no idea what that meant. And then she said it even harder, like, "He's dead." And I didn't even burst into tears or anything. I hadn't had time to even process it. I remember just standing up from my desk and walking over to my boss's office, and I sat down, plopped in the chair next to his desk, and I didn't even look at him. I looked straight ahead and he said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "My brother's gone." And he said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "He's dead." And I said, "I need to go." And I don't even remember his response, because after that point I pretty much blacked out all my my thoughts from, for a lot of that time. It just now a big blur. I mean, it did happen 13 years ago, but it was so painful that I couldn't retain hardly any of it. The one thought I have that sticks with me to this day is how all the family and friends surrounded us. They came in and there was people coming all the time, bringing food, asking us if we needed anything around the house, and it was so helpful to have such loving, caring people to try to support us in this time. I remember we didn't even have to cook meals for like the first 2 weeks because everybody kept coming, people from church, people from our families, and some of our friends, neighbors. Everybody came together and was with us in this hard time. So that was one of the most important things I remember about this difficult period of our lives. So much changed in that one moment, that one call, and I've never looked at life ever the same again since. What happened next is a blur until the viewing. In the viewing, it came several days later. I remember just wanting to get all this over with so desperately, but at the same time it was just, I couldn't believe it. No matter what, I did not actually believe he was gone, and I was just delusional. But when the viewing came, that changed everything. When I first walked in with my family and we saw him laying in the casket, we lost our minds. And it was so heartbreaking to see. He was 27 years old, and nobody had any idea that something like this would happen. Whenever we saw him in the casket, it was just so heartbreaking, and we had to go in early. They let the family go in first and just get a lot of our crying out of the way, because there was going to be lines and lines of people for hours after that came and wanted to pay respects to the family and to my brother. We did our best to not necessarily put a smile on our face, but we were so grateful for everyone that came. There were so many people, and it was nice to know that he meant so much to so many people. So that was a blessing in itself. I don't remember much until the next day, whenever the funeral came. We all got there again, and again it was another time for us to be together as a family before everybody else came. It was not nearly as many people as the night before, but it was more the closer family, so that's typically how it is. So we welcomed everyone that was there, and I remember they asked me to carry his casket if I wanted to. And I said, of course I want to help carry him. And they were concerned that I might drop him, and I said, you don't have to worry about that. I don't care what state I am, I'm not going to let him drop. So, and I carried him out, and we sat him, the casket, next to the gravesite. And I just couldn't believe that this is the moment we were going to be putting his body in the ground. And they had a small service, and after the service, the family, gave their condolences, and they said goodbye to us, and we were just there stuck trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces of our broken family. And if you had asked me if I had ever thought something like this was going to happen, absolutely, I would say no. We had no idea this would ever happen. And that's the strange thing about life sometimes. You don't know what's going to happen, and it really changes your outlook on things when things do change. Change has a way of happening with or without our permission. And a lot of what comes next has a lot to do with how we process the change. To kind of wrap up this video, one of the most important things I can emphasize again is how important it was that people were surrounding the family and supporting us with their love, and it really made a big difference to us, to help us through this difficult time. In the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the weeks that followed and some of the things that I was going through as a result in those weeks afterwards. I hope to see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.